Welcome back to our channel. I am Kayla and Ben is behind the camera. Today we are going to talk about what to pack for Japan. We are currently in Japan. We are currently in Osaka. We are almost through our trip and we wanted to go through what we packed and let you know what worked and what didn't work for us on this trip. So right now it is July in Japan, so it is really hot, really humid. So this really only applies to summer in Japan. Now, we have a lot of Japan videos coming up, so if you're interested in those, go ahead and subscribe to our channel so that you can get notified about when those videos come out. We have a fun time making them. It's not our full-time job, it's just a hobby that we do. So let's get into it. Now, I tried really hard not to bring jeans with me. It's like very American to wear jeans, but jeans do not fare well in such hot weather. So what I did is I brought 4 dresses. Now in Japan, they are more conservative in the way that they dress. So things like strapless tops, spaghetti straps, things like lots of cleavage. Like, you should try to stay away from that. You should go more on the conservative side. I brought one long flowy dress. It goes down to like mid calf. I brought one, it's a little shorter, but it's dressed with like cap sleeves so that it is relatively conservative. And then I also brought a knee length cotton dress that is currently dirty. We need to do laundry. And then I also brought like a little cardigan to go over it in case you go to like shrines and stuff. There's technically no hard dress code for those. It's just be respectful, right? And dress respectful. So yes, I have those 3 dresses, and then I bought one while I was here. I bought a long black thick strapped a sleeveless dress and that has been absolutely great. And then the next thing I brought with me is 2 pairs of capris. So I brought one wide leg, and wide legs are really in style right now. So I have a wide leg pair of capris that's more of like an athletic material. And then I also have it's more jean fabric, but it actually hasn't been too bad at all. These are also wide leg capris. I will say that athleisure wear is not super acceptable here. And while I say not acceptable, you can wear it. No one's going to say anything, but it's more respectful if you do wear things that abide by their traditions. So leggings without a long shirt to cover like your butt is not really acceptable. You will need to wear more of a tunic. So yes, 2 pairs of capris, 4 dresses. I have like a white loose Viore t-shirt, very lightweight. I have 2 black tank tops. One is more of like a dressier kind of scoop neck one, and then one is just a regular like sleeveless black one. And then I have one t-shirt or like v-neck, really short sleeve t-shirt. And then I have one black tank top that has thinner straps, and I have that to wear underneath my Athleta. It's like a tech t-shirt. It's a very lightweight but like long sleeve button up. It's really good for protection from the sun if you need. So I do have that. It can be dressed up, dressed down as well. And then I brought a pair of joggers. These are Viore like cargo joggers that can be dressed up or down as well. And they're very lightweight. They're kind of water wicking, so they're good for like sweating and things like that. Those have been pretty good here. I'm not gonna lie, those have been done pretty well. And then I also brought a pair of pajamas. The outfit I'm wearing, so like a linen short sleeve shirt, and I actually did bring a pair of jeans just because I didn't have any more like dresses and capris to bring, since we normally go on so many cold trips, and this is a warm trip. Not that I don't have things for warm weather, but my warm weather stuff tends to lean towards athleisure, which is not always acceptable here. So today is the first day I've actually worn these jeans, like 10 days into the trip, so I probably could have just left them at home, if I'm being honest. So that is my clothes. Oh yeah, that has done pretty well for me. We've done laundry once already, and then we have laundry again later in the trip. The side of my suitcase, I mean, it's just reserved for your toiletries and whatnot. I do have a pair of sandals and a pair of sneakers. The sneakers I brought were more dress sneakers, and I ended up buying a pair of Allbirds while I was here just to have a better walking pair as well. So I've been like switching between the two of those, and that has done really well since we have been walking so much. There's a few things that aren't in here that I put in my backpack or purse that I would love to point out. So one is this packable tote. I have this is a Peak Design packable tote. Any packable tote will work, but this tote has been an absolute lifesaver for putting things we buy from like 7-Eleven in, and like just throughout the days, like water bottles, things like that. I just throw them in here. I worked really hard to not have to carry around a backpack on this trip, because normally we carry backpacks with us, and our backs just kill all the time. So we tried to go lighter with this trip, but this tote, absolutely incredible. It's also fully waterproof. So if things spill inside or if it rains, you're not getting anything wet. So I really recommend that. This one's small enough to throw in my purse as well. The second thing is a change purse. The Japanese, a lot of their currencies and coins, you do accumulate a lot of coins throughout your trip, and it's very helpful to have a change purse to put all those. Otherwise, you're going to be using your pockets. It can get a little bit messy if you have coins in all of your pockets, especially if you're going to go do laundry. And then the third thing is an umbrella. I opted not to bring a raincoat on this trip and brought an umbrella instead, and I'm very glad I did, because not only are umbrellas used for rain, but they are used for sun here as well. You'll see so many people walking around with an umbrella to shade themselves from the sun. I highly recommend it. It really does just take off the edge of the beating sun if you're going to be outside all day. And sunblock can only do so much, right? So when your sunblock runs out and you have that umbrella, it does help protect you from the sun as well, without having to wear like long sleeve sun protection. Also for Japan, you don't need a converter for your electronics. They do use the same outlet as the US most of the time. Sometimes you'll see, a lot of times it's just the 2 prongs though, without the grounding prong. But most things like your hair tools, your phones, things like that, they don't have a grounding plug anyways, so it will work without any converter. So I mean, we will be going to South Korea, that's why I have one with me, because theirs is different. But if you're just going to Japan, you can leave it at home. You don't need it. Oh, a hat. I would definitely bring a hat with you, whether it's I have a baseball cap here, and then I also have a bucket hat with me that I actually bought here from Uniqlo. It was like $10, and I actually really like this hat. The bucket hat's really good for keeping the sun off like the back of your neck and like your face and stuff, so that's a high recommendation as well. I did not bring any sweatshirts, any jackets. I really don't need them here in the summer. It just is so hot everywhere. So winter, spring, fall, it's a totally different story. This video probably doesn't apply to that. So summer only. I think that's it. Ben, did you want to go over your stuff?
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna go over my bag. My bag is a little bit different than Kayla's, especially because packing men's clothes is always a little bit harder, especially because they're typically bigger and heavier and larger and everything that makes it a little bit more difficult to pack. But hopefully this will help anybody out there who's thinking about going to Japan for either like summer or like early fall, late spring, that kind of time frame. This should really help, because it is probably still going to be pretty hot during those time periods, and you can always dress this up with, you can always warm this up by adding an extra layer, or wearing a light coat. This should pretty much get you through most seasons in Japan, except for maybe like really hard winter or like really late fall. So always in this like a main little pack pocket, I have all of my underwear. I would definitely recommend bringing enough pairs. If you're anything like me, unfortunately, I sweat. I try to bring enough clothes so that I can at least change my shirt, at least, once or maybe twice, in a day if needed, because it is pretty hot out there. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go through my pants. I brought a total of 5 pairs of pants on this trip and 2 pairs of shorts. So I always bring a pair of jeans for the airplane. These are like a little bit different than a normal pair of jeans. These are by True Classic, and they're a little bit softer, a little bit stretchier, a lot more comfortable for those, longer 13, 18-hour plane rides, depending on where you're coming from. So just set those over here. This is where I start getting into the more, I'll call them technical fabrics. They're kind of like lighter, stretchier fabrics that are designed to breathe. So I have one pair of pants here from Arc'teryx. They're darker colors and they look kind of nice. You can definitely dress these up, but they're definitely not the most dressy pants. You could always go a little bit more stylish with these clothes, but I try to pick a good balance between something that I could wear in a stylish way, but also wear in a way that would try to keep me cool, and that if I started sweating that they wouldn't show a lot of the sweat. And then I brought a pair of khaki pants. Now these pants are from Nomadic, so these are a new pair of pants. They don't normally make clothes. They have been making backpacks and bags for years. So this is something that I wanted to try. I brought them along in these trips and they've done phenomenally. So highly recommend these pants. We're not sponsored by any of these brands, just so anybody knows. I'm just talking about what's worked well for me. I have a pair of like Cuts pants. These are a little bit tighter around the legs. Probably not the best for Japan. I probably could have left these at home, but they do work well in situations because they're a pretty light fabric. They do have a very slimming look to them, but that's really not the style in Japan, if you want me to be honest with you. Long flowy pants are like, and linen pants are really in style right now, so this is probably not the best type of pant to wear or bring. I did bring some shorts. I will tell you, there's a lot of advice out there that says don't bring shorts to Japan. They're not in style, they're not stylish or anything like that. It's been so hot out that everybody has been wearing shorts. In terms of like people wearing shorts here, it's like 50-50. 50% of people are wearing shorts, 50% of people are wearing pants. Definitely people who are going into the office, they were wearing pants, but people who were outside most of the day, there was people wearing shorts as well. So highly recommend wearing shorts, especially in summer, but maybe if you're in like spring or fall, pants only. Yes, so yeah, this is another pair of black pants here. I really went monochromatic for this trip. It's just the style that I like. It may not be a perfect style for you, but these pants are from Lululemon, which is also very popular here in Japan for men. It was something I was interested in. I went to one of the stores and the whole store was basically out of stock of almost everything, and they had a line to get in, and you had to kind of either stand in line, and they had certain rules for you to shop there. So it was very different than what I'm used to. But yes, these are a pair of pants from Lululemon. These are also great airplane pants and pants for traveling, which if you're taking planes, trains, and automobiles, this is definitely something a little bit more technical fabric. I think this is called Warp Stream. Good option for summer, spring, fall, type of clothing. So I'm gonna get into the t-shirts here. I think I brought a total of like 5 or 6 t-shirts. This was something that I really heavily debated, and I've worn some of these t-shirts while I'm here, but I have to be honest that t-shirts are not the most common wear here, partially because they don't look that formal, they don't look that nice, they don't look that fashionable. So you definitely can wear like t-shirts, especially very plain t-shirts or t-shirts that have a maybe like graphic tees. If you really like graphic tees, I saw a number of those, but these are kind of like plain simple t-shirts. These are also a advanced fabric. These are from Viore, and I can sweat in these and nobody can see, which is great. And they also dry really quick, so I appreciate that. And then there's some cotton stuff from Lululemon here that has worked well for me because they don't stain, they don't have like sweat marks on them, and they also have like some really nice colors in them as well. All right, so yes, once again, monochromatic theme for the most part, except for probably this shirt. You know, I've got grays and blacks in here and a white t-shirt for layering as well. I did bring one collared polo here. Kind of just unfortunately unfolded this. 1 second, please. I don't know why it was inside out. Must have just washed it. Also, that is definitely something that I would like to tell everybody. Do not bring something that is significantly bigger than a carry-on. It will be an absolute nightmare getting through the train stations, especially if you bring multiple bags. Do not do that. A backpack and a carry-on bag is probably as large as you want to go, because when you get on a lot of trains, some trains you have to pay extra to use the luggage storage area, and then other trains that do have a luggage storage area that you don't have to pay for, there's only limited space in that area. So you may not be able to put your large bag in there if everybody getting on the train is utilizing that. When everybody's coming from the airport, you know, it can be very difficult, but carry-on suitcases or US sized carry-on suitcases, so you'll probably still have to check them in Japan, but they're kind of carry-on sized for US domestic carriers. They worked really well for me. This is like an expandable carry-on from Away. I think that would probably be the size that I would look for, and then try to find hotels that have washing machines, or find hotels that have a washing machine nearby. There's a lot of coin laundry here in Japan. It's just really depending on, you know, what you want to do while you're here. If you get a wash machine in your hotel room, it worked great. I had a hotel that had basically free guest laundry, and it was worth it. So find hotels that do that. That would be one of my top recommendations if you're planning on coming to Japan. I did bring one hoodie for airplanes. You don't need this for any other mode of travel. It's so hot here, it's so warm here right now that, you know, this hoodie has basically gone completely unused for, you know, my entire trip, except for when we get on to airplanes. And it's just because sometimes airplanes, when you're on them for a few hours, they can start to cold soak and they get very cold and uncomfortable, and this can kind of help you sleep, especially if you're trying to take an overnight flight. So I would just keep that with you. I did bring a pair of shorts these are soft, fluffy, workout shorts. These have been great for hanging out in the hotel room, or, you know, doing a quick gym workout. You know, these have worked really well for that. I've also brought a pair of just standard swim trunks. If you're ever planning on going swimming in some of the swimming pools, they do have certain requirements. Most onsens require you to be nude. Most spas that you know, are separated by gender, they require you to be nude. But swimming pools, you know, you still need swimsuits. All right, so this is the last thing that I'm going to talk about in terms of clothes for this bag. You know, before this, I did not own any short sleeve button-up collared shirts, and these have quickly become my favorite type of fashionable clothing. This is a new type of shirt from Lululemon. It's got like a little grid pattern in it with little air holes that breathe wonderfully when it's super hot outside. And so this has been my go-to shirts. They look like completely normal shirts. They have a bit of texture to them, so they kind of look like they are a linen shirt. So I love the look of this shirt. It's quickly becoming one of my favorites. I went to Lululemon while I was here and wanted to buy another one, and they were like, we have none. We have sold out of all of them. So you could tell that they're becoming popular here as well, especially in the summer. These would work great layering in the fall. If you put a white t-shirt beneath it and put this over the top, it would look phenomenal. This is also another shirt, and I'm wearing the other one here today. This is a shirt from Viore, very similar thing. It's not linen fabric. It kind of looks like a linen fabric, but I think it's like a polyester blend. It's a technical blend, and it has worked great for allowing me to just sweat because it's so hot, and you know, it doesn't soak up all of the water and, you know, sweat and, you know, create those terrible looking sweat stains. This has done a great job at, you know, drying quickly, staying dry, and still looking nice. I did bring a adapter for here. I know Kayla said that you don't really need an adapter here. Well, that's really only true for people coming from the US. If you're not coming from the US, if you're coming from a different country like Europe, you will definitely need an adapter while you get here. Remember, the voltage here is also slightly different. So it's 100 volts versus 110. So it's slightly lower. Most everything from America should still work. However, there are some like hair tools that might be a little odd if you're trying to run them on, 10 lower volts. Like it might cause some issues. So, but every hotel that we've stayed at has had a like hair dryer, and that's been super helpful for anybody. But I also brought this because some hotels only have a limited amount of plugs, and this is kind of like a like an expander. So I think this is called like a donut. Oh, super bagel. I call it donut. This has been my like number one best travel purchase. I've used this in almost every country that I've gone to. It's just got like a standard plug, and then it kind of unrolls here, and then you can plug it into the wall, and then it's got a bunch of plugs for both European and US plugs so that you can plug your device in. It also has a basic surge protector in it, so it's been absolutely wonderful. It also has like a USB and a USB-C, like standard 5 volts, and it has this little center thing that pops out. So it just has a standard like outlet in the middle, so you can just plug this into here and then convert this to basically any standard like European plug. You can even extend these lugs out if you need to, or you can go into the standard like US plugs and everything else, including US plugs or plugs for Australia. Pretty much everything's available here. So this has been a great purchase of mine, and I absolutely love it. I did bring 2 sets of shoes. So I did bring one pair of very nice, well, I'll call them very nice, but these are kind of like a mix between dress shoes and walking shoes. I did want something that was fashionable, but I also wanted something that I could still walk around in, because sometimes my feet just need a break. These have been up to the task. These have been what I like. I think these are called the McGuffey from Johnston & Murphy. Great pair of shoes. I've had a few pairs of them, and I love them for looking like semi-formal shoes, and they're quite fashionable. The last thing that I have here, and this is also like a travel tip, travel hack. I have these little bags that I actually kind of, the hotel ended up giving them to me, which I thought was, really nice of them. But they're just actually like recycled, like plant material, which is really interesting that made them. But I've been putting my white sneakers and shoes in them because, these are shoes that I've used to walk around train stations, and I don't necessarily want them touching my clothes. So I have a pair of On Cloud running shoes. These have been great, especially if you want to work out while you're on vacation or you want to go for a quick run. These are great shoes for that. These are also great shoes for walking around. I've done quite a bit of walking here in Japan, even with taking public transit pretty much as possible. These have been lifesavers for walking around. Remember, you're probably going to be getting like 10 to 20,000 steps a day. So whatever pair of shoes you bring, make sure it's got enough cushioning in it for you. The last thing that I'll talk about is some of the accessories that I brought with me. Now, I did the opposite of Kayla. I brought a rain jacket. I've never used it. It stayed in my bag the entire time. And honestly, right now it's so hot out, I don't think I could bring myself to put on a heavy rain jacket. Now, this is Gore-Tex and it should breathe, but I don't think I could bring myself to wear another layer. So maybe just leave something like this at home. It's definitely not a requirement. And then I've got a standard toiletry kit with all of my toiletries in it. The last thing that I will mention is, and this is something that I picked up from everybody that's been around me, people that are riding trains, people that are, walking around the stations. I noticed that they all had like handkerchiefs in their back pockets. Most of the time the handkerchiefs were of like a polyester or microfiber material. So if you're coming to Japan in summer, just go ahead and throw one of these in your back pocket. They can help kind of clean off your face when you're sweating your full head off, and just make you look a little bit more presentable as you walk around. With us making videos, I don't always want to have like my face pouring with sweat. So if I could just dab my face off before I, turn on the camera, I can look a little bit better, more presentable. But everybody around me was utilizing these. So I think that this is a great recommendation, and this is always going to stay in my bags. Anytime we travel to hot countries, I'm always going to keep, you know, at least 2 microfibers, just so I can wash one and have one in my back pocket when we go on trips in the future. All right, I think that's it for this video. If you like this type of content, this type of content has always done really well in the past. Everybody's always interested and has always asked questions about what is in our bags. This is what is in our bag for our Asia trip. We're also taking this same kit to South Korea. So this has worked really well for us, and hopefully it helps you out. We'd also really appreciate it if you subscribe to our channel. We've been trying to kind of grow subscribers and would really appreciate it if you could go ahead and subscribe to us. We have a lot more content coming like this in the future. We also have a lot more travel content. I also like to do some tech talks, especially for creators or anything that I find particularly interesting that might help other creators out. But yeah, I think that that's it for this video, and we will see you on the next one.